Do you question yourself about the sexual orientation of the women in this page? How about this one? And how about the sexual orientation of the men in this page? And how about this one here? When it comes to men, I am pretty sure that a great part of the people question themselves if the guys from these profiles that I've just shown are gay or not. As if, first of all, there was a problem, with being homosexual, which there isn't. The problem exists in being homophobic. And as if, besides that, a man, caring about the way he looks, taking care of his looks, embellishing himself, regardless of what he considers beautiful or not, was a synonym of being homosexual. I'm saying that because one of these days, two Instagram pages dedicated to male beauty, published some of my pictures, and so some people reached out to me privately, to make fun of me. Some even asked if I had turned into a homosexual or not, and I said that, no, I am straight, and so on. Some believed, some others didn't, but more on this subject, in a moment. So, I pondered a little bit about this, and I decided to record a video about this subject and other related subjects in order to generate a debate. I also wrote a script, which I am reading here. And yeah, so let's have a debate. What I think occurs in our male chauvinist society is that the object of sexual desire is the woman. The woman in our society, unfortunately, is not a subject. She is an object. The subject, the one that acts, the one that desires, is the man and not the woman. It is the man that chooses, his partners, but women do not have the freedom to choose, their own partners. Have you ever seen a woman hit on a man, approach a man like with sexual intentions, make the first move when she's interested in him? I don't know about the places where you guys are, where you guys are from, but Brazil, where I am from, is ultra sexist, and that very rarely happens. You know, well, this fortunately is apparently changing. Thank God. And also notice that I'm speaking from the male chauvinist perspective on our society nowadays. I don't agree with the situation. In fact, I very much disagree with this. Okay, so just to be clear, in this sense, the object of desire, which is the feminine, is the same object that needs embellishment, in a way to attract the desiring subject, which is the man. Therefore, embellishment is, in itself, considered a woman's act. The place where beauty resides is a feminine one. And being an act considered essentially feminine by the homophobic sexism in our society, and given that whoever is a woman is attracted by men, again, according to what our sexist society believes, hence, a man who makes himself more beautiful is the same as a man with a female soul, quote unquote. That is a man who likes other men. So, and there are so many problems, in this belief. It is such a load of bullshit that I don't even know where to start. Because, it doesn't consider that there may exist female homosexuality, and that is perfectly normal. And same goes for male homosexuality, perfectly normal as well and should be accepted. And besides, there is an idea, that a friend of mine expressed, one of these days, and that I found pretty interesting, which was the fact that the place that women inhabit, in our society, has been considered a place of futility. Women are considered, futile creatures. So that which is really, really important is considered as being something masculine. You know, so notice that for a long time, the provider, the one that works, the one that puts food on the table, was the men. This is changing, of course, and therefore this would be the foundational sort of like structure of our society. As if taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, cleaning up the house, as if that this wasn't an activity that is as important as the ones traditionally performed by men, if not more important. And small point about the children, here in Latin America, there still is a lot of violence and mistreatment against kids, which is pretty horrible. So everything that we have to do with the feminine, is secondary, including the embellishment thing, which in my opinion is a big, big mistake, given that aesthetics is not only very important but fundamental, you know. Aesthetics is not necessarily superficiality. Did I pronounce that right? Superficiality, but more on that later. In short, if beauty is the place where femininity inhabits and women supposedly only like men, hence men who care about their beauty are effeminate men and therefore like other men. And speaking a little more about this matter, we have the fact that men usually give a very big importance, too big, by the way, to physical beauty, or I should say that what they perceive as being beautiful. I was once watching a debate between two YouTubers. It was a guy and a girl, and the guy was more left wing, and the girl was like more like right wing and everything. And the woman asked the guy, "Okay, so in your opinion, what should a man do to attract other women?" And she was saying that in the context of a man meeting a woman, for the first time, them meeting each other for the first time, and the first attraction, the beginning of a relationship. You guys know what I mean, right? The first 2 months and everything in a relationship. In any case, and the guy said, "Well, the man should, take care of himself, try to make himself beautiful. It doesn't have to be a Chad type guy. It doesn't have to be Henry Cavill or something along those lines, or a Chadwick Boseman or anything like that. But he should be attentive, he should treat her well, be a partner, enjoy a good conversation, have things to offer her in terms of cultural enrichment and etc." And then the YouTuber girl asked, "So what should a woman do to attract other men?" She asked. And he said, "Look, are you asking about the average man, like straight men in general, and disregarding, exceptions to the norm, this kind of thing?" And she said, "Yes." And he said, "Honestly, just be hot." And she said, "Dude, nothing else? That's it? Being hot?" And he said, "Yeah, that's about enough. Most men only care about this anyway." And it's important to emphasize here that the guy said that, because he's left wing, probably, in a critical manner, in order to criticize this attitude that heterosexual men have, And yeah, I agree with him. I completely disagree with this attitude that most straight men have. But I didn't do any research about that, any in-depth research about that, but I think that's true, And so this is the level of superficiality and douchebaggery in general of the average straight man, you know? I was saying just now that aesthetics isn't something superficial, like, at all. And that, by the way, aesthetics is a pretty big deal. But I would like to say that in this specific case that I'm mentioning, I am saying that what is superficial is only caring about this when it comes to love and relationships. That's what I'm saying that is superficial. Because people aren't only, physical bodies, that fall with a force of gravity and with which one establishes a purely carnal relationship. People are much more than that. They are very, very complex beings who possess intellect, a lot of often contradictory feelings, culture, etc. So it is in this sense that I am saying that the average straight man is superficial, but not that aesthetics itself is superficial. So it's important to understand the difference. Okay, now let's drink some water. All right, where was we? In any case, physical attraction and physical beauty do exist. This is a deeper matter that would probably demand another video, a separate video. But my idea here is that aesthetics, that is, form, because that's what aesthetics is. That it's the form that something takes. This is a whole debate about form and content in art, anyways. And therefore, beauty and art are inescapable. What I mean by that is that okay, where the fuck was I? I lost myself. In any case, what I mean by inescapable is that it is something that is impossible to fight against. It is invincible, implacable. I can make another separate video about this. Anyways, aesthetics, beauty, art, etc. exist necessarily, regardless of your will. That being said, I have a tremendous difficulty to believe those people who say that they, quote unquote, don't care about physical beauty. Sorry if you disagree, but to me, this is a big lie. You may not even care about physical beauty in the same way that the people around you care, or, you may not even find beautiful that which a lot of people find beautiful, And that's fine, it's no problem at all, Now, when you come to me and say that the physical form of a human body doesn't attract you, to me, it's the same thing as saying that no song, film, series, book, painting, sculpture, even video game, that nothing of those things, nor any form of art at all, that it don't attract you, Because to me, it's like you're saying that you don't have the ability to appreciate the world aesthetically, But appreciating the world aesthetically, is exactly one of the things that make humans being human. So it is as if, in my opinion, you were saying that you weren't human, So it's fine, Maybe they have invented, robots with intelligence and capable of thinking for themselves and who have feelings and these things like that. And I'm not aware of it. And perhaps you are one of those robots, you who say that don't care about physical beauty. But in any case, this whole thing, on the other hand, gets a little confusing in some people's heads because several are the homosexual men who perform femininity, and that is the way of acting and speaking, more commonly associated with women. In fact, not long ago, it was thought that homosexual men are men who necessarily perform the feminine way of acting physically, the effeminate men, as people say. And by the way, there is no problem at all in the existence of effeminate men. People should be free to be whoever they are and act however they want. But I think that at this point, this was already implicit, in my video. And notice that I said perform just now, because at the end of the day, that's it. All of us, 24/7 perform our acts. None of our acts are natural in the way that people usually understand nature. Because all of our acts, no exception, in my personal opinion, of course, and that comes from someone who has studied social sciences and has a degree in social sciences. But in any case, all of our acts, no exception, are acts that are socially learned and therefore they are culture, you know, and so they are acted, they are performed, they're artificial, you know. So it's like we're all actors in a theater, me here at this moment, recording this video, posting videos, working out on my Instagram. You there, taking pictures with friends at the beach, looking for the best angles in such a way that you may look more beautiful according to what you think beauty is. Anyways, we are all actresses and actors in a pretty long and interesting film called Human History. And I think this is even more apparent in the age of social media. So that's it, folks. This was part one of a video about the subjects of the title and also related subjects. Part one in Portuguese has already been released, so I recorded the same video in English as well. I'm doing it right now, in fact, in order to establish, a dialogue with English-speaking people as well. So either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, and that will be Saturday, I will be releasing the part two. Take care.